Complexion.
It was 5 below zero in Iowa Falls when I took some of these pictures, but that was nowhere near as cold as it was in Alabama in 1840. T.C. Ricks was born there as a slave with no rights, no identity, and only his given name, Coog. He died in 1915. His wife Nancy had escaped to Iowa during the Civil War. T.C. Ricks escaped through the lines and served in the 55th Colored Infantry Division during the Civil War, fighting for his freedom. He attended a soldiers' reunion in Des Moines before he died. In Iowa Falls, Ricks did all sorts of menial labor for a few cents an hour. He provided the heavy labor necessary to turn the printing press at the newspaper for Ira Nichols. He also provided the labor to operate the pump organ at the Baptist church where his family attended. T.C. and Nancy were very industrious and diligent. They performed all sorts of labor from sunup till sundown. T.C. was known for whitewashing ceilings where smoke had accumulated in the kitchens of houses. The Ricks family was very independent. They did everything themselves. They built a ramshackle cabin on the riverbank, which they later replaced with a more modern home. The Friends Church, also known as the Quakers, were abolitionists. One of these friends was Hugh Johnson. Johnson was a devout abolitionist who had 13 children, with 2 sons being killed in the Civil War. Johnson was responsible for bringing Nancy Ricks to Iowa Falls early in the Civil War. The father, brother, and master of T.C. Ricks were all killed in the Civil War. Only he survived. T.C. and Nancy had no formal education or no means of getting any, but they were very intelligent. They raised 5 children and 3 grandchildren. Oldest son Nelson was a graduate of the University of Minnesota with a degree in agriculture. Son William was a graduate of the University of Iowa and became a lawyer in Cincinnati. Grandson Ernest was a dentist in Chicago. The Ricks grandchildren attended the East Side School and Iowa Falls High School under the tutelage of Julia O'Neill and Blanche Stoddard. Hazel and Helen graduated from Iowa Falls High School in 1910. The last original member of the Ricks family in Iowa Falls was Fanny. She was one of 3 daughters who did not attend college so that other children and grandchildren could attend. At the time of the death of Dr. Ernest Ricks in Chicago, the Ricks family had been in Iowa Falls for 75 years. Their home had served as a hotel from any African American visitors to Iowa Falls. The Ricks property and homes stood in the 300 block of Washington Avenue, which at that time was an undeveloped area and allowed the family to catch fish out of the river. Although public schools were not segregated in Iowa Falls, sadly, there was social separation. The Ricks home was visited by many African American friends during those years. The homes were heated in the old-fashioned way. The Iowa Falls Legion bought the site when the Ricks family had all passed away and were no longer living in Iowa Falls. The home was torn down. This is what the river looked like in those days, and this is what the river looked like after the dam was built and the water level came up. This is what the river looks like in the area today. When the river is lowered for maintenance, you can see where the family's fishing spot was located on the north bank of the river. In Union Cemetery, There is a lonely grave site with an individual stone in the center of the family plot. T.C. Ricks is buried there in an unmarked grave. The memorial stone marks the gravesite of Nancy and several family members and infant children who died. There is also a star signifying that T.C. Ricks was a veteran of the Civil War.
Complexion.
In Union Cemetery, there is no difference in complexion. The stones are all the same color.